Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to put together this free box from Simply Crafty SVGs, which I call the Boo Halloween box. So these are the pieces of the box. So we have the transparency, or you can acetate, that's just for the top, you'll see. This is the panel for the top. Then I have the little pumpkin and the boo, the bee and the two pumpkins. And the panels in the background are here. And then we have the lid. And then the box. And then of course the lid panels. So the first thing, in really no particular order other than just getting some of the piecing done first, I'm going to put these panels on, and then we're going to go ahead and layer these. So the boo pieces. And we can also go ahead and put at the same time we'll put it all together. So we'll put the panels on. Then we'll just put together the lid and the box afterwards. So when you put these on, they only go on one way, so make sure you have the correct panel for each side. So if I put this one won't fit on this side. You'll see it's kind of the opposite. So just make sure you get the right one. So we're just going to center those. If you wanted to offset them, you could as well. This is kind of a cute digital paper that I used. I believe I got it from Creative Fabrica. I'll have to double check, but it's just something I get a lot of digital papers to use. Sure, I know where I'm going to put it. It's got to go on the other side, so let's do this one first. I had the correct one. Alright, my eyes are deceiving me. And if you aren't already aware, and this is your first project with Simply Crafty SVGs, we do mainly use art glitter glue now. I do tend to use Scotch Quick Dry every once in a while when I'm using it on larger boxes, but I like to use art glitter glue. A little bit goes a long way. I've tried many glues. This is not the only glue I like. This is the one that I prefer, and I try to stick to the same thing for most of my videos. And if you don't already know, we also have a number of freebies on our website at simplycraftysvgs.com. If you do like these projects, I would encourage you, or ask kindly, if you could give me a little thumbs up below, and or subscribe to our channel. So now that we have those lids on, that looks like I have something on my mat, but it's just I inked something and it stained. So we're not going to put this together quite yet, but you're going to see this is how it's going to go together. We're going to let's go ahead and put together the boo pieces. So these are pretty simple, layered, and the shapes are pretty obvious because they're different shapes. That's skinnier. Then those will go on the panel when we're done. That's the exclamation mark. So I would suggest that you have something like a fine tip applicator, or a fine tip at least on your glue, depending on the type of glue you use. Then just go ahead and line it up. You can just line the edges up. The tip is just don't get glue too close to the edges or the openings so it doesn't leak in. And you could use any ink, but I'm just going to kind of ink around the edges a little bit just to give it a little bit of a glow-ish of black. I decided to go with the purple because I haven't done enough. It's really hard to find. I like purple Halloween things, but it's hard to find purple Halloween paper. I haven't figured out with the time that I'd take. Of course, I could probably make my own paper, but It's very time consuming, so whoever does it, you know, kudos to them. I've tried. There's other ways. You can take existing paper and make it purple as well. So you see these just layer. So my biggest tip with this, I should have inked that before I put it on. My biggest tip usually with when I'm doing layered projects like this with holes, just make sure you don't get glued too close to the openings. Go really light around them and the edges so it doesn't come through. Apologize, it's not, I've been a little bit not well lately, so I'm not as sharp as normal. It felt good enough to do this though. It's been a couple days I've been trying to get this done. Again, I should have inked that before I put it on. These are the little things that when you're not feeling like 100% what it does. Hey, there's a fly in my video. Okay, I had to stop for a second to tell the fly that you weren't recording him. So it may be back. I don't know. No fly was harmed during the making of this film. So now that we have these layered, we can go ahead and I have this transparency. I use transparency because I had a big box of transparency from years ago to use as my acetate, but you can get acetate for the clear top. But before we do that, we're going to move that so I don't get glue on it. I'm going to go ahead and just add these to the little areas here. Just center them. Kind of like how this came out, so maybe I'll make some holiday ones like this. I hope others like it. Just because I like it doesn't mean everybody else does. And this time I normally use just American Crafts cardstock. But this time I used Cricut cardstock for this purple because I really like their purple. So if you haven't tried it, it cuts pretty well. I don't primarily use a Cricut device all the time, but I do sometimes. So you see how I put the top of that exclamation mark? Then I'm just going to add a little, you could add a little dot right here. And then place it. So that's the top. So I'm going to flip this over upside down, and you can always make sure it's all glued. We're going to attach this. This is slightly smaller than, I'm going to put the glossy side up. This is slightly smaller than this. So you see, because I don't want to be able to see it. So I didn't want the same exact size. So what we're going to do, rather than add glue to this, because if I drop it, then I'm going to get glue everywhere. And you don't want glue on acetate, or if you use transparency sheets like me, anything clear like this, hard to get glue off of. Not fun. So what I'm going to do is put this clear line around here. And since you're not going to see, get it away from that edge there, so make sure you get it away from the edge so when you put it on, you're not going to leak it in there. But this stuff's not going to be seen, so you could just put a little bit. Don't put a lot, I'm just putting in enough to kind of hold it. And obviously not close to the edge. So I want the shiny side up. I'm going to start on this side. I just kind of went in just a little bit. As long as it fits behind there, we don't care if it's a little bit crooked or anything else. Okay, I just realized. Okay, so I have a blooper. You probably don't want to put glue there. So don't put glue there. Oh boy. That's what happens when you're tired. anyways, because you don't want to see it when somebody flips it over, you're going to see it. But if you don't care about it, that's okay. So go ahead and just put glue around the edge, and do not put glue there. And then we'll go ahead and just glue this on. So the whole point of this is not to be able to see the acetate. I'm not going to refilm it for that though. So what's nice about this box is that you could use it for any occasion, just don't put the boo on top. It would be a fun little birthday box. Put a little small gift or something like that. So that should fit right on there. I'm kind of watching the corners a little bit because they have rounded corners. So there it is. There's the, so you can see inside, the candy inside, or whatever you put inside. So again, don't put glue there. And then now we're going to go ahead and put together the lid. So we're just going to fold this in. So you can see I already scored everything. I didn't mention that. Or folded everything on the score. So apologize, just one of those weeks. This is a fairly simple box, and I started on this probably about 4 or 5 days ago, but I just couldn't sit up long enough to get it done. So with lids like this, I always say just kind of hold them as long as you can, or if you have like little clothespins, they have these clothespins that you can use to hold those sides for you until they are secure, or you can sit there and hold them. And I always like to just kind of run my, when I line this up with the fold of that tab, I like to kind of run my finger over the edge to make sure that I'm lined up, because we don't want it too far in because it won't, then the lid won't go on. There's a bit of clearance, but it's not a ton of clearance if you glue it wrong. Plus you have the thickness of these. So now that we have that done, all we have left to do is the box. I decided to just make it a plain box and just put all the decor on the top. So we're just going to add glue to the side tab. So I'm just lining this edge up right up to the fold. And then makes it easy because it's got this, when it's something's rectangular or square, you can just fold that over, and it'll just, when I fold over the right side, it'll just match up almost, it should be perfectly, unless I just a little bit off on that first tab. So it could be just a smidgen off. Kind of pulling it closer, make sure it's lined up on the top and bottom, and then I can apply pressure. So since this is just intended to be a gift box, I'm just making sure that I thought I saw a gap. This is just meant to be a gift box. Didn't make it really pretty or anything. I'm just gonna, there's two things you can fold these and put them on the bottom, or you can fold them and put them inside. Some people prefer to put them inside like that. If you want it to hold something a little bit heavier, I suggest to put them on the bottom. You know, and if you're just giving this as a gift, hardly anybody's going to check the bottom tab. So if that bothers you, I guess you could always just cut out a rectangle to cover that. So let's go ahead, I'll put them inside. But again, it will be stronger if you put it around the edges. If you do put it inside, just try to get your glue as close to the edges as possible without getting too close, because you don't want all that leakage. Because then we can just apply pressure from within. to get it nice and secure. So I'm just going to fold it. So now that I got the glue on it, I'm going to go from this end so you can see it a little better. Just going to fold it over. So you could make this slightly smaller too. So I'm just making sure that these, each of the sides line up with this bottom panel. Get it in place. So make sure it's stuck in place first, and then I can reach in and apply additional pressure. With wet glue, fortunately, it'll usually be strong enough. I have a little bit of leakage in there. So the bottom's just a basic box. Then we can go ahead and put this lid on. It's pretty tight fit. I mean, not really tight, but tight-ish. And then here's the little box. So like I said, you could make it smaller. This should be able to cut smaller if you want it to. So if you don't know how to resize it, I have 2 videos on my YouTube channel. It's under help too on our website for Silhouette and Cricut, how to resize everything all at once so they size proportionally down. So if you did like this project, again, this is one of our freebies. Give me a little thumbs up on the video, and I thank you so much for watching.